Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story about something literally every single one of us battles with in our fast-paced, instant delivery world: instant gratification. We're going to follow a boy named Leo, and we'll use his magical adventure to really unpack the psychology of patience and what it teaches us about our own everyday struggles.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever wished you could just fast forward through the waiting? I mean, really think about that for a second. Whether it's standing in an endless checkout line, refreshing the tracking page for next day delivery, or just grinding through the incredibly messy process of building a new career or learning a new skill, that feeling of impatience, it's completely universal. We all crave that instant result, right? Well, today we're going to connect those very real world desires to Leo's fictional magical dilemma and see exactly what happens when we actually get what we think we want. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the agony of waiting, or as I like to call it, the 5-minute cookie torture. So meet Leo. He's this highly energetic, super smart kid who is practically vibrating on his tiptoes in his bright, cheerful kitchen. And why? Well, because there is one thing he hates more than anything else in the entire world, and that is waiting. 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes left on the oven timer. The kitchen smells absolutely amazing, just completely filled with the scent of warm chocolate chip cookies. But to Leo, those 5 minutes, they feel like a million years. He's pouting, his arms are crossed, he's tapping his foot. He wants his warm cookie right now. And man, that perfectly captures that absolute agony of a delayed reward that we all know way too well. Which brings us to section 2, the magic fast-forward remote, and where temptation appears.
Okay, so Leo lets out this massive sigh, resting his chin heavily in his hands, when suddenly, a puff of sparkly green and gold smoke swirls right above the kitchen table. When the smoke clears, it leaves behind something incredible: the waiting skip button. It's this shiny blue magic remote control with a glowing fast-forward symbol, and it basically promises to instantly skip any wait time. No way, right? Leo's eyes go as wide as saucers. With a very mischievous grin, he points it directly at the oven timer and mashes that fast-forward button. Instantly, the kitchen walls blur into this rainbow tunnel of light, and the timer hits 0. The oven door pops open, revealing perfectly cooled, absolutely delicious cookies. He gets his sweet reward with literally 0 wait. But, as he takes that first bite, he's already looking around the room, wondering exactly what else he can skip.
And that kicks off section 3, the hollow victories, and the escalation of impatience. Leo embarks on an absolute rapid-fire fast-forwarding spree. And it's fascinating to notice just how quickly things spiral out of control here. It starts small, just skipping mere minutes for cookies. But soon enough, he graduates to skipping hours, completely bypassing the time it takes to build a cardboard racetrack or waiting for art project paint to dry. And finally, his impatience scales all the way up to skipping entire days just to see a sunflower seed grow to its full height. Let's actually break down exactly what happened during these skipped moments, because it's super revealing. Take the cardboard mountain racetrack, for example. Leo's friend brings over this massive pile of boxes and markers, ready to spend the whole afternoon building. But Leo thinks building takes forever, so he hits the remote, and in a flash, he gets an instantly perfect track. But at what cost? His friend is totally disappointed and just walks away to play all by himself in the sandbox. The track works perfectly, sure, but as Leo rolls a car down it, his tummy feels a funny little pinch. The instant track is cool and all, but he completely missed out on the actual joy of building it together with his buddy. And the exact same thing happens at the art table. Leo paints a bright blue sky, but he wants to add a yellow sun immediately. Now, to avoid muddy colors, he has to wait for the paint to dry. But instead, of course, he skips the wait. The paint dries instantly, sure, allowing him to paint his sun right away. But the resulting texture, it's flat, it's stiff, and it is totally boring. He completely missed out on the tactile, sensory fun of blowing on the wet paint and watching that wet shine slowly fade away. The artwork is done, yeah, but the experience itself was entirely hollow. And this all culminates in the ultimate hollow victory. See, Leo planted a sunflower seed yesterday and he's checking on it constantly. Frustrated, he points his magic remote at the dirt. Boom! A massive, fully grown sunflower pops straight up. But here's the catch. By skipping days of his life, he completely missed the tiny green sprout poking its head out of the soil. He missed the daily ritual of using his little red watering can and watching it stretch just a little bit taller each morning. So the flower is huge, but it means absolutely nothing to him because it required 0 real investment.
Now we arrive at section 4, the big realization, the real price of skipping the wait.
So Leo sits heavily on his front porch steps, just watching the remote's magical blue light slowly fade away into a dull gray. He looks back at the cookies, the empty racetrack, the boring painting, and that sudden sunflower, and suddenly it clicks. He says softly to himself, "When I fast-forwarded through the waiting, I fast-forwarded through all the fun parts too." And wow, this is the core epiphany right here. Leo realizes that the waiting isn't just some annoying barrier to the things he wants. The waiting is actually where life happens. Building with his friend, watching the paint colors change, seeing the little sprout emerge from the dirt, that was the best stuff. With a warm smile and a deep breath, Leo makes a surprisingly mature decision. He stands up, walks right over to his toy chest, gently drops the magic remote inside, and closes it with a very satisfying click. No more shortcuts. He is officially, absolutely done with instant gratification.
Which leads us to our final section, enjoying the journey and finding magic in the waiting.
The very next morning, back in the kitchen, Leo is faced with a ticking timer for a big bowl of fluffy pancake batter. But this time, he handles the situation completely differently. He employs a brand new patience routine, which honestly is essentially a child's version of mindfulness. Step 1, he closes his eyes and takes a big, deep breath in. Step 2, a slow exhale, exactly like he's cooling down a bowl of hot soup. And step 3, being completely present by grabbing his friend's hand, singing a silly song, and just dancing around the kitchen. They laugh and let the timer count down naturally, genuinely joyfully passing the time. When that timer finally rings, they flip hot, golden pancakes onto their plates and sit down to eat, absolutely covered in syrup and laughter. The psychological lesson here is crystal clear, and, it applies to all of us. Waiting isn't just an empty space you have to suffer through. It's the time for building, for growing, for putting in the real work. It's the time that actually prepares us for the best surprises. The real magic wasn't that blue remote control at all. The real magic was enjoying the journey along the way. So I want you to think about your own life right now. What waiting in your life is actually a hidden opportunity to enjoy the journey? The next time you find yourself tapping your foot, just wishing for a fast forward button to skip the process, I want you to remember Leo. Remember that the space between where you are and what you want isn't empty. It's where the actual living happens. Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.